I get asked all the time from potential buyers and sellers wanting to know what is going on with the current Jacksonville real estate market, how it's comparing to last year, and what I foresee happening with interest rates, and also sellers wanting to know, should they list now? Should they list next year? Are they going to be able to still get as much money as possible? So I'm going to answer all these questions for you in this video. I'm Stevie. I'm a real estate agent with Keller Williams here in Northeast Florida. I'm servicing Jacksonville, St. Augustine, and Ponte Vedra Beach. Let's dive in and talk about interest rates. Interest rates are hovering around 3% in Northeast Florida, which is pretty much where the nation is right now, around 3%. What I have been hearing from lenders is that they foresee it staying around 3%. It's not going to explode where all of a sudden tomorrow it's going to be 4% or 5%. They do foresee it, though, the interest rate gradually going up, but not exceeding 3.5%. 3.5% is still a wonderful low interest rate. Currently, where interest rates are, they are dramatically lower than what they were in 04, 08. They are 50% lower. And lenders have a very positive outlook of Jacksonville. We have had a low interest rate for a steady 16 months. In 04 and 09, there were a lot of adjustable rate mortgages where they would start out at a certain amount and then over the years they would gradually increase. And I recently was looking at this chart that showed a timeline from 04 to 09 and the adjustable rate mortgages, like everybody was getting this. It was skyrocket high. And then over the years, it was gradually going down. And as of right now, according to this chart, no one is getting an adjustable rate mortgage. Everyone's getting a fixed rate. So this is great. What that means is that your monthly amount isn't going to change. What's interesting, something that I learned from a local lender, is that they were mentioning that in 04 through 09, a lot of people were purchasing multiple properties. So when the market went down, it was harder for them to sustain those, especially when they had this adjustable rate mortgage and their mortgages were increasing. Versus now, a lot of people are just purchasing their primary home. Yes, of course, there's a lot of investors, there's a lot of cash buyers, but as far as the mortgage perspective, it's mostly people purchasing their primary residence and they're just needing that place to live. The ease of getting a mortgage right now, it's a lot harder than what it was. Lenders had learned based off the stats, there is currently more inventory. In comparison to this time last year, we were at 3,384 listings, and currently there are 3,633. Inventory is currently up 7.4%. And I've been noticing this in my business. Years ago, we would be looking at 10 properties a weekend. There were options. And over the last year or two, it was very sporadic. A buyer would reach out wanting to see a property, and then a week later, I would find something, and then a couple days later, we're looking at a property. It's very sporadic. Usually we're hardly even looking at 2 or 3 at a time. There just were no options. And now what I'm seeing is buyers, I'm finding them more properties. We're going out, we're looking at a couple at a time. Now, it hasn't exploded. There isn't so many listings now. It's still very, very low. But in comparison to last year, it is slightly up. And like I said, it's up 7.4%, which it isn't a lot. It didn't explode. We are currently at only a month to a month and a half of inventory. What is considered a good amount of inventory is having 4 to 6 months. So we aren't nearly close to that. So it's still technically very, very low, but just slightly higher than what it was last year, which is great for buyers because you have a little bit more options. Now I'm going to answer some questions that I have from sellers. I had seen some stats on nefar.com that stated that there hasn't been as many closed sales. There's been slightly more inventory, a little bit more listings like I had mentioned, but the number of closed sales have declined. And why we are projecting why that has happened is because every seller, of course, we want to list as high as we can. We want to get the most money possible for you. But in the craze of this market and everyone getting such great high dollars, that sellers are pushing the limits, right? They're stretching. They're trying to list a little bit higher to see what they can get. And a lot of sellers, what they've been doing is kind of like the Zillow Make Me Move, where they have this number in mind of what they would love to sell their house for. It's not based off of the market or what their house is worth, but they list their house for this super high number to see if they get this number, they're like, okay, yeah, I will move. And I'm experiencing this in my personal business with sellers wanting to do this. So when that happens, when they list their house so high, not based off of the market and what their home is worth, it ultimately ends up sitting, and then they just decide to take it off the market. So it never closed. You know, they don't want to keep it on the market, keep doing, you know, sporadic showings, keeping the house clean and all those things. So they just decide to take it off. And that's why those stats that I'm seeing is showing, you know, we're having more listings, but less closings. And we believe it's because of sellers who are putting on their market just to see if they'll get that price. Something that other agents have been seeing, lenders and myself, is that we're kind of seeing the craziness die down slightly. So when it came to listings, we were getting a crazy amount of offers on properties, back-to-back showings. And I had offers a couple times, up to 30 offers on a property, 40 offers. We were getting so many offers on listings. And now that's died down a little bit. It's not as crazy. I mean, we only need one offer. So if you're pricing your property correctly, you're most definitely, your house is still going to sell. You just might not get a plethora of offers. We also aren't seeing crazy contingencies, offering way over list price, covering appraisal gaps, buying the property as is, super high additional earnest money deposits. We are starting to see that die down a little bit. And that's great for buyers. And that's still okay for sellers, because you're still getting top dollar for your home and you're still getting well-qualified buyers. Average days on market last year was 62 days. Currently, average days on market is only 30 days. So this is down 50% from last year, which I find it just so interesting. But these stats that I am sharing with you, it is based off of all of Northeast Florida. Jacksonville is huge. You know, every area is so different. So it's a little bit broad. If you need me to dial in on a specific area, I have the stats for every single nook and cranny of Jacksonville. So if you're wanting me to dial in and get you those stats over to you today, just let me know, send me an email. But based off of these stats in general of Northeast Florida, that the average days per market has dramatically increased. So another thing, last year sellers received 97.2% of the list price. Currently, they're receiving 99%. Currently, homes are getting 35% over list price, and this is up 111% from last year. For the purpose of this video, I just want to dial in on one specific area in Jacksonville and dial in on those particular stats. It's one of my favorite areas. It's in Ponte, Vedra. It's called Nocatee. It is one of the top master plan communities. I'm sure you've heard of it. It's so beautiful and a wonderful school district. They have every amenity possible. I'm actually headed out there later today to do some showing. So I wanted to throw in some stats for Nocatee. So in comparison to last year's listings, sold are down 17.4%. The median sales price in Nocatee is $540,000. The percentage of properties getting over list price is 102%, and 4.4% are selling over list price. Average days on market in Nocatee is 29 days. Last year was actually 73 days. I thought that was quite interesting. So those are just a couple quick stats on Nocatee. If you want me to dial in on your neighborhood or a neighborhood that you're interested in, please let me know. And that wraps up this month's Jacksonville market update. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you have any questions, if you have any interest in buying or selling in Northeast Florida. I would love to be a resource for you, and I'll see you guys on the next one.